The wait is finally over, real football is back. The Dallas Cowboys are heading into hostile territory to open the 2025 NFL season against their bitter rivals, the Philadelphia Eagles. Kickoff is set for tonight, and the stage could not be bigger. Vegas has the Eagles listed as heavy favorites, nearly a 9-point edge, which only fuels the underdog mentality for Dallas. But as every football fan knows, opening night can be full of surprises. Both squads are coming in nearly at full strength, which is exactly what you want for a season opener. For the Cowboys, star cornerback Trevon is ready to go, no limitations. Offensive lineman Tyler Guyton and defensive tackle Brevin Spanford have both shaken off their preseason knocks. The only absence for Dallas is depth piece Perrion Winfrey, sidelined with back stiffness. On the other sideline, the Eagles are also healthy. Landon Dickerson and Andrew Mukuba will suit up without restrictions. Rookie phenom Jalen Carter is good to go, and outside linebacker Josh Uche is set as well. The only notable absence is backup quarterback Tanner McKee, which won't impact their game plan. So what does that mean? It means we're going to see both teams at nearly full strength, going toe-to-toe in one of the fiercest rivalries in the league. And when it comes to matchups, the first one to circle is Dak Prescott against defensive mastermind Vic Fangio. It's not just Dak, offensive coordinator Brian Schottenheimer will also be tested against one of the best defensive schemers in football. This chess match could define how the night unfolds. It's never just about the quarterback, football is a game of strategy, and the schemes matter just as much as the players. Still, when you look at Dak Prescott's track record in the NFC East, it's hard not to be impressed. He owns one of the best division records in football, sitting at 33-8 in his career. Against Philadelphia alone, he's 9-4, which proves he's more than capable of delivering in this rivalry. The funny thing is, we haven't seen Dak and Jalen Hurts square off nearly as often as you'd expect. Injuries and timing have kept them apart, but this season opener finally gives fans the showdown they've been waiting for. Now, Dak's history against Vic Fangio's defenses is a different story. He's faced Fangio 3 times, once against the Bears when Fangio was defensive coordinator, once against the Broncos in 2021, and most recently against the Dolphins in 2023. Dallas is just 1-2 in those games. Prescott's numbers weren't disastrous, but they were far from his usual efficiency. Fangio's disguised coverages, especially his 2 high safety looks like cover 4 and cover 6, have a way of slowing down quarterbacks and forcing hesitation. Cover 6 in particular gave Dallas problems, they struggled to find open windows, and Dak was baited into mistakes. So, what does that mean tonight? If Fangio leans on those zone shells, Dallas has to find balance. The Cowboys must be able to run the ball effectively to punish those looks, otherwise they risk falling into the same traps that have hurt them in the past. And beyond the X's and O's, the Cowboys need to beat an old enemy, themselves. Too often in recent seasons, Dallas has started slow in big games, digging holes they can't climb out of. Against a powerhouse like the Eagles, a sluggish start could be fatal. Philadelphia has made a habit of starting fast. Under head coach Nick Sirianni, the Eagles are a perfect 4-0 in season openers. Even when Philadelphia rests starters in the preseason, Sirianni always seems to have his team sharp and ready to go when the real games begin. The Cowboys, meanwhile, have been more inconsistent. Yes, they've won their last 2 openers, but those came against weaker opponents in the Browns and Giants, teams that were near the bottom of the league that year. When Dallas has faced true contenders on opening night, like Tampa Bay or the Rams, the results haven't gone their way. And in some of those losses, it wasn't just about talent, it was about slow starts and missed opportunities. That's why this year, Dallas can't afford to stumble out of the gate. Falling behind early against the Eagles' firepower could bury them before they ever find their rhythm. Now let's get into one of the most fascinating matchups of the night, Jalen Carter versus Tyler Booker. Carter has quickly become one of the most dominant defensive tackles in football. Don't let the sack totals mislead you, his disruption goes far beyond the stat sheet. He collapses pockets, blows up run plays, and forces offenses to adjust their entire game plan. If I'm Philadelphia, I'm putting Carter across from rookie guard Tyler Booker as often as possible. Booker has the talent, he was a first-round pick for a reason, but he's still green. He barely saw the field in preseason, and now he's being thrown into the fire against a wrecking ball like Carter. That's a matchup Dallas has to manage carefully. Expect the Cowboys to give Booker help whenever possible, because leaving him one-on-one with Carter could be a recipe for disaster. If I'm the Eagles, I'm testing Tyler Booker against Jalen Carter early and often. Carter is too dominant to leave in single coverage, and if he starts generating pressure right up the middle, it spells trouble for Dak Prescott. Like most quarterbacks, Dak struggles when pressure comes directly in his face, and Carter has the tools to make that happen all night long. But Carter versus Booker is only part of the story. Another huge matchup to watch is the Cowboys' cornerbacks against the Eagles' wide receivers. Fortunately for Dallas, Trevon Diggs is back and ready to roll, which is massive given the challenge ahead. Philadelphia boasts one of the most dangerous receiving duos in football. A.J. Brown is a physical powerhouse who can bully defensive backs and dominate contested catches, while Devonta Smith is a precise route runner who can torch defenders with speed and finesse. You could argue Cincinnati's duo is the best in the league, but Brown and Smith are right there in the conversation, no question, top 5. Dallas will need every bit of Diggs' ball-hawking skills, plus strong play from Darren Bland and the rest of the secondary, to contain these two. If the Cowboys' corners don't hold their own, Jalen Hurts will have a field day through the air. Depth matters in this matchup, and both teams have plenty of it. For Dallas, the return of a healthy cornerback group is huge, because going up against A.J. Brown and Devonta Smith is brutal for any defense. You don't want to be stuck putting your depth corners one-on-one against those two all night. With Trevon Diggs and Darren Bland ready, at least the Cowboys have the personnel to battle. But let's flip it around. The Cowboys' receivers against the Eagles' corners could be where Dallas finds a spark. CeeDee Lamb is the unquestioned number one, and George Pickens gives Dallas a physical weapon on the outside. Together, they form a duo that can put real pressure on Philly's secondary. The X-factor could be Kevontae Turpin. If he gets extended snaps in the slot, that frees up Lamb to attack outside matchups. Philadelphia may lean on zone coverage, but when they do go man, that's when Dallas must strike. Darius Slay and Quinyon Mitchell can't cover everyone at once. If the Cowboys can isolate Lamb or Pickens against the weaker links, like Adoree Jackson or younger players still finding their footing, they could flip the script in this game. Both receiving core are loaded, and that's what makes this matchup so electric. It's strength on strength, two elite groups of pass catchers trying to prove they're the most dangerous in the NFC. So, who really has the better wide receiver group, the Cowboys or the Eagles? Honestly, it feels like choosing between vanilla and chocolate. Both are elite, both can win, and it might just come down to who delivers in the biggest moments. Now, let's spotlight a few players to watch, newcomers who could shape this game. First up, linebacker Kenneth Murray. Dallas brought him in through an off-season trade, and this will be our first real chance to see him in action. He didn't play in the preseason, so the opener is his true debut. Against Philadelphia, Murray's role is critical. The Eagles want to run the ball and attack with play action. Murray has to be disciplined, shed blocks, and help keep Jalen Hurts from gashing Dallas on the ground. On the offensive side, George Pickens is a name every fan should circle. The Cowboys added him to give Dak Prescott another legitimate weapon opposite CeeDee Lamb. If Philadelphia puts Quinyon Mitchell or Cooper DeJean on Lamb, Pickens has to take advantage of his matchups, especially if he gets lined up against Adoree Jackson. That's a battle Dallas can win. Pickens showed flashes of brilliance in Pittsburgh, but now he's paired with the best quarterback of his career. Throughout camp, he and Dak have been building chemistry, and this could be the night it fully clicks. For Dallas to upset the Eagles, Pickens needs to deliver big plays alongside Lamb and tight end Jake Ferguson. Next up on the list of players to watch, Kenny Clark. Dallas traded for the veteran defensive tackle to finally solidify the middle of their defense. No single player can completely fix a run defense, but Clark gives the Cowboys something they've lacked for years: stability and toughness inside. At 28, Clark is still in his prime, and when healthy, he's one of the league's most disruptive interior linemen. His presence changes the entire dynamic of the defensive front. With Clark clogging lanes and commanding double teams, it frees up Dallas linebackers and edge rushers to fly around and make plays. If the Cowboys want to slow down the Eagles' powerful ground game, Clark will have to set the tone in the trenches. On offense, keep an eye on Javonte Williams. Dallas brought him in to be the lead back, and this will be his first real test in a star role. The Cowboys will need him to be physical, protect Dak Prescott in pass situations, and take advantage when the Eagles show those too high safety looks. The best way to punish that coverage? Run straight at it, and Williams is built for that style of football. And while it's not a player, the most important figure of all might be offensive coordinator Brian Schottenheimer. We didn't see much from the Cowboys' offense in the preseason, but that just means tonight is his true unveiling. How he schemes against Vic Fangio's defense, how he adjusts, adapts, and keeps Philly guessing, could determine everything about this game. This game will also be our first true look at the Cowboys' offense under Brian Schottenheimer's leadership. For the first time in his career, he's stepping into the spotlight as both head coach and play caller. That's a massive responsibility, and the pressure couldn't be higher. The questions are real. Can Schottenheimer balance game management with play calling? Can he avoid the slow starts that haunted Dallas under Jason Garrett and Mike McCarthy? And most importantly, can he put Dak Prescott in position to succeed against one of the toughest defenses in the league? The Cowboys are tying Schottenheimer's future to Prescott's. If the partnership works, it could be the spark that finally pushes Dallas over the top. If it doesn't, the questions around this team will only grow louder. Opening night in Philadelphia will give us our first answers. Is Schottenheimer the bold hire who brings new life to the Cowboys, or just another experiment destined to fall short? Tonight, under the bright lights of Week 1, we find out.